All right, good morning. We're going to go ahead and get started here with today's live briefing covering weather from today through the middle of next week. Just wanted to give an overview here of some flood hazards that we're still looking at. There's a couple of river flood warnings for the James River. We'll talk about that a little bit later in the presentation. And some other river flood warnings to our north as well. I did want to show the rainfall that we've seen over the last couple of days. It's been some heavy rain the last few days. Looking at widespread 1.5 to 2 inches, a few places even closer to 3 inches. We've seen a lot of rain here lately. And then I guess next I will cover the overall weather pattern for the next week or so. So for the end of this week and to start the weekend, we'll see a continuation of this unsettled pattern. We've got a weak boundary over the area as well as some weak low pressure nearby that will lead to some unsettled conditions, some afternoon thunderstorms today, tomorrow, and possibly Saturday, as well as those weaker boundaries and low pressure systems kind of pass through the areas with that warm, moist air mass in place. Then a cold front finally pushes through the area on Saturday, and behind that we look pretty dry for the end of the weekend and into early next week before seeing additional chances for rain middle of next week into late next week. Alrighty, so now we're going to move into the severe weather potential for the next few days. So we'll start with today. This is the updated 13Z SPC outlook for severe weather. They did expand the slight risk a little bit further south than what was sent in the morning briefing. So we've got a slight risk for much of our inland area and then marginal closer to the coast. This does look like a little bit of a later system starting late this afternoon and going into tonight. Seeing some isolated and scattered storms developing late this afternoon. We have pretty good confidence in the storm development and the severe potential, as well as the timing, with wind gusts of 50 to 65 miles per hour in those stronger storms and hail up to ping pong size. Just breaking down those threats further. So for left to right here, we got tornadoes. Could see a tornado, can't rule that out, but it's really damaging winds and hail that we're focusing on, with wind gusts up to 65 miles an hour with those stronger storms, and up to ping pong size hail with those stronger storms as well. As far as timing goes, I'll just show some simulated radar from the HRRR. This is looking like later afternoon into the evening as far as timing goes. This is 5 p.m., 6 p.m., just going into those evening. That's when you start to see those storms start to pop up, and into tonight. So could see some scattered convection going into late tonight as they make their way to the coast. All right, so tomorrow's kind of an interesting situation. This is for Friday. Currently, the outlook has a marginal risk across the north and general thunder to the south. It's going to be an interesting thing that we have to keep our eyes on because if there's a little bit lower certainty as far as whether or not these storms are actually able to get going to initiate. However, we do have pretty good confidence that there's going to be a rather unstable air mass in place if and when those storms do come through. So if we are able to get storms to develop, those could quickly become severe, with wind gusts up to 70 miles an hour possible with those. It does look like if those storms initiate, that would be another late afternoon, evening into the early overnight hour system. And then those unsettled conditions continue into Saturday. Right now we have a slight risk over much of the area. However, confidence is a lot lower with Saturday's storms. But again, if those storms do initiate and do get going, we're looking at wind and hail as being the main threats. And timing right now looks like afternoon into late evening. As far as heavy rainfall goes, today we could continue to see some isolated areas of flooding, especially since we've already seen quite a bit of rainfall this week. But the showers and thunderstorms for Friday and Saturday don't quite look like as much of a heavy rainfall threat, or flooding threat rather, just because those storms will probably be a little bit more widespread and probably quicker moving. So for rainfall totals, a little bit lower than what we saw the last few days, but could still see those isolated areas up to 2 inches possible where those stronger storms set up. And yes, so this is the accumulated precipitation forecast for Thursday through Saturday, with that, up to around half an inch, up to maybe pockets of an inch or two. And then Sunday through Wednesday looks a lot drier, with most of that precip being on Wednesday, since Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday look pretty dry. Moving forward into temperatures. So today we're looking at highs in the low to mid 80s, but tomorrow and Saturday do look pretty hot and humid, with highs in the upper 80s to around 90. And then when that cold front comes through, relatively cooler, knocking back into the 70s and lower 80s. As far as the probability of precip goes, you can see kind of chances of rain off and on today into Saturday night, and then drying out for the early week period. And then those lower end chances come back on Tuesday night into Wednesday. With that heat and humidity, we are watching the heat risk for Friday. Right now, we have kind of like a widespread limited threat across most of the area, which would indicate, heat exhaustion is possible with prolonged exposure. We're looking at heat indices for many locations getting up into the mid to upper 90s on Friday and Saturday. Looking ahead, as far as temperatures and precips for next week, looking at below average temperatures for the area next week, and near to above normal precip. Before I switch gears into the marine forecast and the river flood forecast, I did want to just make a quick note that our rip current forecasts will be starting tomorrow and will continue through the summer. All right, switching gears into our marine threat. Not quite as much of, it's a bit of a quieter period on the marine outside of those thunderstorms that could bring those brief gusty winds. The orange here kind of equivalent to a small craft advisory. Could see some brief periods of those gusty winds Saturday and Sunday for portions of the area, but overall for the weekend looks to mostly remain sub-small craft. Here's kind of an overview of those winds. So for today, breezy, but below small craft advisories with wind gusts in the mid to upper teens. And looking at those wind gusts over the next few days, you can see where it picks up with gusts around 20 knots on Saturday into Sunday for portions of the area. Yeah, this is just an overview including the sustained wind. We're seeing those sustained winds around 15 knots for a lot of the area with gusts around 20. Saturday into Sunday. And for wave heights, looking to stay for the coastal water staying below 5 feet and staying, mostly 1 to 2, maybe some 3 foot in the bay and rivers. And then last but certainly not least, I do have the river overviews for the James River. We've got the James River at both West Ham and Richmond locks looking to crest in the next couple of hours probably, and then remain above flood stage going into tomorrow morning. All right, and I'll just pause here at this overview slide and I will take questions.